Hello, my name's Chip Settery. I am the clinical training manager for the Americas for Cook Medical. I'm going to talk with you a little bit tonight about what degree I got in college and where that's taken me in my career. So I've got roughly, 19 years in sales experience. I graduated from the University of Florida in 2001 with a degree in business administration. And where that degree ultimately took me was sales. In my particular case, it was sales in the healthcare field. I've worked with three companies, a company called Medline Industries, Merck Pharmaceuticals, giant company that you guys may have heard of, and Cook Medical, which if you're a local Bloomington resident, I would think you probably have heard of as well. During the past 9 years, I have been a senior district sales manager for Cook Medical and have recently relocated to Bloomington as that clinical training manager that I alluded to before. So, my degree, as I stated, was in business administration. I got a bachelor's degree from the University of Florida. One of the positives of a degree in business administration is that it is sort of a Swiss Army knife. It's sort of a jack of all trades. It's a very broad degree, sort of a shotgun approach to what jobs it may potentially qualify you for. To that end, there are a lot of other people with those exact same qualifications. And so the challenge there is that you have to figure out a way to separate yourself from the pack. You may look at 100 resumes, and I have looked at that many on a regular basis, and there's about three-quarters of the candidates that have essentially the same qualifications, particularly those that are coming right out of school looking to enter the workforce. Those are the people that have the most difficulties separating themselves from the pack. That old adage of everybody wants somebody with experience, but nobody wants to give it to you, it does tend to hold true. That being said, a degree in business administration is good for advanced degrees. If you were looking to go to law school or you wanted to get an MBA, it would set you up well to do that. Probably would not be the ideal degree if you were looking to go to, say, med school. The other thing with a business degree is that generally speaking, it is pretty well regarded by most employers, provided that the degree is from an accredited 4-year institution. That's worth making sure. If you needed something that was a little more specific, though, I talked about it being a broad degree. If an employer was looking for a specialization in, say, finance, while finance is a component of a business degree, it is simply a portion of it. Operations management, economics, managerial accounting, those were all courses that I took as part of my business degree. And so I got a little bit of it, but I'm sort of that jack of all trades, master of none. If somebody wants a potential IT specialist, I'm not going to be your guy. They're going to look for somebody that has that computer or IT degree. So some employers want something with a very specific degree for a particular type of work. Other employers are okay with that much broader degree. It's my opinion that in general, most degrees are simply a piece of paper that says you went to 4 years of school, you applied yourself, and you achieved getting that degree. And that is simply a document that will help open a lot of doors. You may find some doors still shut, depending on what they want that degree to be in. And it's worth noting there are some worthless degrees out there. I think the old joke was underwater basket weaving. If you get your degree in something very specialized, let's just say forestry or parks and recreation, I hate to break it to you, but that's probably going to be what you do. And if you get your degree in a particular field in which there are only 500 jobs across the country, and there's two of them that aren't filled right now, it doesn't matter whether you have that degree. Unless you're one of those lucky two people, you may find yourself with a worthless degree. So keep in mind what the opportunity is for the degree that you get. Maybe worth checking a job board God, I'm trying to think, Monster.com, LinkedIn, some of those types of places to see what types of qualifications particular industries are looking for, particularly if it's something that you're looking to do, just to figure out is the degree I'm going to get actually going to be worth it. Also worth considering is the cost of the degree that I'm going to get going to be something that is a burden for me for the next 10, 20 years or longer. If you get a $60,000 degree that will qualify you for a $30,000 a year job, you need to understand about a third of your income is going to come off the top in taxes. right off the front. So if you're making 30 on the front end, you're already down to 20, and that's before your living expenses are out, and that's not a lot to get by on. It doesn't leave a lot to pay off that student loan or that school debt. You're going to have that debt for a really, really long time. So keep that in mind, that what is the job I want pay? What am I looking at as far as that cost of the degree? That 4-year degree is important, but you want to set yourself up in a position that you're not carrying that debt long term. Okay, interest is a very powerful thing when it works for you. It's a very powerful thing when it's working against you. Keep that in mind. To that end, when you're getting a degree, ask yourself, what do I want to do? Do I want to get a graduate degree? Again, is that graduate degree necessary? For me, I looked at an MBA, but the reality is every job I've ever had, there are a bunch of people walking around with MBAs doing the exact same job that I'm doing. So from my standpoint, I have never seen the value in getting that further degree at this point. From what I've seen, if I want to get to upper management, that may be something I have to pursue. But to this point, there have been people with the exact same job that have spent that extra money, and I would argue that it has not gotten them any more money when it comes to their job, has not gotten them a higher position. It's not to say that those degrees won't, but just give some consideration to that. Look around you and see how many people actually have those advanced degrees and what that has gotten them that you can't get with the current degree you have. Again, it's about that break-even point. That being said, your other option is go to work. All right, so again, what job can I get with this degree? Is there a market for this degree? And if I can't get a job in this particular field, is this degree going to be something that does nothing for me? In general, there are a lot of 4-year degrees that are fairly broad. They will be adequate for getting most of your jobs out there, at least your entry-level jobs. You may need something more specialized down the road. Business administration is a very good, broad degree. For me, that led me to sales. I have worked, as I said, for 19 years in the healthcare sales field, 17 years very specifically out in a sales role. The past 2 has been as a clinical training manager for Cook Medical. The pros of sales are the simple fact that you get to set your own schedule most of the time. Most of the time, you're not going into a building and clocking in and clocking out, so you come and go as you please. But here's the thing. If you're not a self-starter, if you can't get yourself out of bed at 5 in the morning and get out the door and to your accounts before the customers get there, sales may not be for you. If you don't have the ability to set your own schedule, in your own mind and on paper and hold yourself accountable, sales may not be for you. The fact of the matter is you have to be willing to work harder and longer than other people. And the bottom line is you have the ability to give yourself a raise at any time if you perform. And that's the beautiful part about sales. You need to go to the dentist during the day, go to the dentist. You don't clock out. You just get back to work when you come back in. Sales is very much like hunting. You eat what you kill. So if you're somebody who can hold yourself accountable, if you're somebody that is a self-starter, if you're somebody who does not need somebody to tell you where you need to be, when you need to be there, and what you need to be doing, and how you need to do it, if you're somebody that can operate within those parameters and hold yourself accountable, sales may be for you. The downside with sales is there are some jobs that are what we call 1099. Essentially, it is 100% commission. You go out there and work for free until you actually sell something. I don't think those are always great opportunities, but they exist. There's other jobs that you have a base salary, and in general, when it comes to sales, the higher your base salary, generally the lower the commission, and there's usually a cap on that commission. The lower the base salary, the higher the commission, and possibly a limitless cap. So it's kind of risk reward that you kind of got to balance. It's like the stock market. The riskier stocks pay more, but there's more risk. In this case, if you have a smaller cushion, you have a essentially limitless ceiling when you're in sales. The higher your cushion, usually the lower that ceiling. But again, you got to perform. If you look at some of the top jobs that are out there in terms of income, sales professionals is absolutely one of the top earners for somebody with a basic 4-year degree. Again, if you go out and perform, the high performers can break 6 figures very, very easily, even the high 6 figures. If you're a moderate performer, in general, you can live on the money. And if you're a low performer, it's going to be pretty tough. And the reality is you probably won't be with that company that long. Your job security is 100% performance based. Again, as I said, you eat what you kill, and if you're not a self-starter and you don't perform, eventually they're going to put you on a performance plan. You get pushed out the door, and you're going to look for another job. So sales, as I've been told, and I agree with it wholeheartedly after doing it for 19 years, is about listening and relationships. People buy from who they like. If you think about it, people pay consultants like financial planners because they see value in what they offer. People run from salespeople. You look at the used car salesman that runs out the door the moment you come on the lot because you're just coming to buy windshield wipers. You were trying to get that guy as far away from you as possible. So sales is about relationships and being a consultant and providing answers. You don't have to sell anybody anything if they're asking for it. The best salespeople are viewed as consultants, they're viewed as partners, and they offer solutions. And they're not selling anything if they're really good at it. The other thing that I will say, and this is a piece of advice, regardless of where you decide to go, what you decide to do, is assume that you are always, always interviewing, no matter who you're talking to. The opportunities that you potentially set yourself up with down the road are not going to be obvious immediately. My two jobs, Medline and Cook Medical, both came because somebody put their neck out and recommended me and got my resume pulled from that stack of 100. Remember I mentioned with a business degree, it's a general degree, it's tough to separate yourself from the pack. If somebody puts in a good word for you, they pull your resume out of that stack and now you're one of those 10 that's getting considered. You have to put in the work to get the job. It doesn't mean you get it, it means you get the opportunity. But in both cases, it was somebody I met, I made a good impression with them, and when the opportunity came for them to say, hey, give Chip a look, it was the difference probably between getting the job and not getting the job, simply because my resume was in the pile of candidates who got the interview. And at the time, I had no clue of the impression I was making with the people who went out of their way to help get my foot in the door and get my resume pulled. So again, my advice to you is always conduct yourself with integrity, be honest, be hardworking, hold yourself accountable, and you'll be surprised how far you can go. That 4-year degree will open a lot of doors. Consider what you want to get it in. Consider what the payoff is going to be at the end. And consider what it is going to cost you to get that degree and what that degree will eventually make you in terms of potential income, to make sure that you don't spend the first 10 or 20 years of your life post-graduation just trying to pay off a student loan. I wish you absolutely the best of luck out there. There's a ton of opportunity if you know where to look. And I think that the relationships you make now, the impressions you make now, and the things you do to make yourself stand out from the crowd will make all the difference when you're getting that general degree and you're trying to get an opportunity to get a job out in the workforce. Best of luck to you.